everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life's Journey with Benedicta. I'm going to take a few minutes, or rather a few seconds, to set up my IG live feed. I hope today I'm going to have it quite easy. So just give me a few seconds to set up my IG live feed, then we can begin with today's topic. I want to be sure that's live on this. So I am live on my IG. It is Tastebudzng on Instagram and Tastebudzng on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, it is youtube.com/Tastebudzng. And if you have subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you for your subscription. And once again, welcome to Life's Journey with Benedicta. We are live on my IG at Tastebudzng every Saturday and live on my YouTube feed as Tastebudzng. So, welcome Joe Sparks. Thank you for joining in. Hello Daddy Freeze. Thank you for joining in. Neka Spief, thank you for joining in. Welcome everyone to Life's Journey with Benedicta. And on today's topic, we are going to be discussing open relationship in a toxic union or in a toxic marriage, as against filing for a divorce in a toxic marriage. What would your take be? On this platform, or rather on this show, Life's Journey with Benedicta, we come here to discuss matters that are not so easy to talk about on a regular. We discuss issues that we are struggling to live with, issues that we are struggling to accept. Most of the topics that people would rather shy away from, because I see it as us being hypocritical in our failures to talk about these topics or to address them. So on Life's Journey with Benedicta, we discuss such topics. We are also here to support each other on our journeys through life. We're here to help women, especially that have been abused and are struggling to find their place in life once again, be it emotionally, mentally, financially, physically. They are struggling to rediscover themselves. Here on Life's Journey, we try to give support to these women, to encourage them that whatever it is that they have been through or whatever it is that they are currently going through is not strange. They aren't the first ones on earth to go through such an ordeal. So we are here on Life's Journey to support each other by sharing our stories, by listening to each other tell these stories, and by giving encouraging words that would enable that person to pick up the pieces of their lives. But remember, this platform is specially dedicated to women. We're also here to help the men, don't get me wrong, but we're here especially to help women and to talk about women related issues. So feel free to discuss these topics with me. Feel free to tell me what your candid opinions are concerning any topic at all that we come up with on this show. And on today's topic, like I said, we are going to be discussing the option of filing for a divorce in a toxic marriage or having an open relationship in that marriage. I know the go-to answer is, oh, filing for a divorce. Why should any woman want to have an open relationship? It's not good for the children. That is what most people will say. But in reality, is that what is happening in our Nigerian families? I'm not going to be talking about the world at large, because the society we're currently living in, or rather the society that is Nigeria, that we in Nigeria are living with, or the black communities, how we see marriages in this part of the world is different from the way other cultures see marriages. So I'm not going to be speaking from the Western point of view. I'm going to be discussing from the African perspective what is interpreted as a toxic marriage in an African setting or in a Nigerian setting. Here, we see a lot of abnormalities as normal situations. This phone that I am using for this show, and I think it is intentional. I called this number sometime last week. As soon as I started Life's Journey, the person started calling me constantly. And normally when they do that, the show will be paused and eventually I am going to lose the video. I think it's a sabotage. I think it is intentional to stop me from airing this show. This call comes in just when this show is on. And I don't know who this person is. I blocked this number last week, and now the person has started calling me again on this particular line every minute. So I think it's intentional to sabotage whatever it is I'm about to say. But bear with me, I'm going to keep cutting the call. Each time the person calls into the show, I'm just going to keep cutting that call because I know it's intentional. So what I'm trying to say is how we perceive marriage in the African setting or in the Nigerian setting is totally different from how the Western world will see marriage. A lot of things that we see as normal in the marriages in Nigeria is seen as an abuse in civilized societies. In Nigeria, can you tell Daddy that I really don't know what to do to stop this person? This person is calling me like every 30 seconds. I switch off the data, my data, I might not be able to get back this video. Okay, the good thing is that this video is live on YouTube. So if you, for whatever reason, I lose this video on this phone, you can all join me on my YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/tastebudzng on YouTube. So if we lose this video, my IG, please move over to my YouTube. So see as normal in the marriages in Nigeria will hit them every now and again. Over the years, they have come to see it as normal. He's my husband. He's the head of my, they call it Onye, the person that paid for my head, like the person that paid my dowry. So if he hits you, it is seen as normal. As a wife, it's one of those things. But in the Nigerians, in most homes, it is seen as normal. Your husband hits you, go back and tell Nigerian families will accept it as normal. If your husband is a party, that will be seen as a toxic relationship. But in the Nigerian setup, it's seen as, well, is one of those things. Now, my question is, we have established the fact that being in an abusive relationship where your spouse, be it the woman or the man, hits the other party is toxic. Being in a relationship where your spouse is a serial cheat, an unapologetic cheat, is toxic. We aren't talking about a one-off, he just fell into the pee kind of situation and he comes back home to tell you he's sorry. Or she cheats on you and she comes back home to say she's sorry. We're not talking about that. We are talking about scenarios where the partner or a partner is a habitual cheat, an unrepentant cheat. He or she is physically abusive. That kind of toxic is what we're talking about. We're talking about a union where a partner has a different sexual orientation and has decided to lure the other party into that union. Deceptfully. Okay? Deceptfully. Men, women having different sexual orientation and not being honest with their partners, and then luring the other party into that union. So that is being deceptive, right? So that is a toxic union. If you have this type of relationship, would you rather file for a divorce, or would you have an open relationship in order for you to absorb the hurt, in order for you to absorb the constant cheating of your spouse, in order for you to just be able to tolerate it? A lot of women or men will come here and say, oh, it's not good. I'd rather file for a divorce than be in an open relationship. The truth of the matter is sometimes people don't even know when they begin to entertain an open relationship. They don't understand the word open relationship. Open relationship doesn't necessarily mean that the other party is in support of it or the other party is aware of it. It just means that you are intimately seeing other people other than your spouse. You are intimately in a relationship with some other person other than the person you are married to. It has become open. So every now and again, you have a new relationship outside your marital union. Then the relationship comes to an end. Then you start another relationship. And both parties are doing this either in the open, like it's either they have informed their spouses that this is what they want to do, or they haven't informed their spouses, but they are doing it. So it is easy for you to say, I'd rather file for a divorce. How easy is that divorce in the Nigerian setting? Like I said, I'm not going to discuss the world at large. I'm going to discuss just Nigerian. Is it for you to file for a divorce in Nigeria? Myself as an example. Prior to the time I filed, I remember, and I told a few friends and relatives that this is what I have just done, because I decided to file before telling my friends that I had filed, because I knew that a lot of them would not have the courage to see me go through it. The first thing they said was, oh, why don't you pull it out of court? Even if your marriage is terrible, you can always remain in this marriage and have somebody out there, somebody on the side that makes you happy. You don't have to file. Think about the children. Think about your parents. Think about the church. Think about the church you attend. Think about what the society will say. You're not the only one in a horrible marriage. You're not the only woman that is having it really bad. Our own husbands cheat on us regularly. Men always do that. Why do you really want to file because of that? You can always have a boyfriend on the side. The worst of it was the day I was physically beaten up. This was like 2 years after I filed for a divorce. I was beaten up by my ex. And I went to the hospital, I got the doctor's report. I went to the police station and I reported the case. You wouldn't believe that the police officer, a lady that sat with me, she told me, she said, you're a very young woman. Why did you file for a divorce? After I narrated everything to her, she now told me her own story. She told me she's a deaconess in her church. That is what I will never forget. She told me she's a deaconess, and that she likes me so much. Seeing me and hearing my story, she knows I must have gone through so much. But for the sake of the children, since I have children, why don't I go back to the court and withdraw my divorce proceedings? Go back to confide in me that her own marriage is nothing to write home about. But for the past 15 years, the lover that she has been intimate with, and the man makes her happy. The only thing about the man, whenever the husband is in town, she will tend to the husband, and whenever the husband travels back to wherever he's traveling to, maybe to his other mistresses or to his other wives, she would go to her own lover. So she has been living her life that way for the past 15 years. And this lady I'm telling you about, she was nowhere my age mate. As at that time, she told me she had a daughter that was a medical doctor. You can imagine how old she must have been for her to have a grown-up child that is a medical doctor. So this was the advice of a very mature woman that was a deaconess in a reputable church, I wouldn't mention the name, and was a senior officer in the police. She was supposed to assist me in addressing the physical abuse and battery that I had from my ex. This was the advice she gave me. So it is easy for people to come and say, oh, why are you filing for a divorce? Instead of filing for a divorce, instead of being in an open relationship, file for a divorce. The average Nigerian man or the average Nigerian woman, I'm going to tell you from experience, is in an open relationship. Either in an open relationship, or is considering an open relationship, or has been in an open relationship, or will be in an open relationship. Because if there is anything I want us to take home today, is that there is a limit to everyone's endurance level. We all have our endurance threshold. Some people might take 2 years before the break, and then they go have that boyfriend or that girlfriend. Some people might take 10 years of enduring a toxic relationship before they eventually break and then have that boyfriend or girlfriend. Some people might wait for even 20 years in a toxic relationship before they finally cave in, and then they have that extramarital affair. But you cannot tell me that a time wouldn't come when you're going to cave in and have that extramarital affair. So if you're really here and you're saying you think it is best to file for a divorce rather than being in an open relationship, yes, it is easier said than done. But I can tell you very few women like myself were actually able to file for that divorce and go through with it. A lot more women would rather just stay in it, have an open relationship, have a boy on the side, and then they believe that the children are not even aware of what is going on. Who told you so? Who told you that the children are not aware? They might not be aware when they're that little, when they're that young. It's only a matter of time before they know that their father is cheating, he's having an extramarital affair, or their mother is cheating and having an extramarital affair. My advice to you today, be you a man or a woman, is if you happen to be in a toxic relationship that has defied every form of redemption, you have tried everything to make it work and it isn't working, please file for a divorce. Fanta_ Roland said, at Binta_ Ghana, what's terrible about the advice? Fanta_ Roland, I don't understand. Are you talking about the advice that I got, the lady that advised me to go have a boyfriend rather than filing for a divorce? You don't think it's terrible, right? Well, that's your opinion. I thought it was a horrible advice. It was terrible, and I wasn't going to go through with that. So I filed for a divorce. That is my take on this. But like Fanta_Roland said, to her, she felt there was nothing wrong with the advice. Fanta_Roland, you're right. Because, some of my friends told me the same thing. Go get a boyfriend. Go get a boyfriend. Yes, you don't have to file for a divorce. Remain in your toxic marriage. You're not the only woman in Nigeria in a toxic marriage. Remain in it. Have a boyfriend on the side. After all, two can always play. So, what is your candid opinion on this topic? Mohu Kariaya said, I agree with you. It was a horrible advice. Fanta_Roland said, not the advice from the policewoman. Indeed, stupid mentality. Some don't words to call a man. They even don't know their duties as a man. Yes, I understand Vicky_Suleiman, but remember that it swings both ways. Some women don't even know their role as women. They don't even know what they should do in a marriage. They don't know their role or their responsibility as a woman in a marriage. Just like some men do not know their place in a marriage. And like I said, if your marriage is horrible, it is toxic. As a man, as a woman, you must do everything in your power to make sure that it works. But if every attempt has failed, I would advise you to file for a divorce. You're better off filing for a divorce and having people call you also murmur and gossip. It isn't worth it. Living a hypocritical life where you are miserable, you cannot talk about it with anyone. Your partner is a serial cheat. You are miserable. And now, because of his strings of affairs, he is now drawing you into that vicious circle. I call it a vicious circle, and it goes around. You never wanted to cheat on your spouse, but you find yourself caught in the mix. He or she is a serial cheat, and you are miserable in that union. So your only way of dealing with the pain, dealing with the ache, is to join him or her in that vicious circle. You now begin to cheat. At the end of the day, your partner has succeeded in turning you into someone that you are not, into something that you can no longer recognize. Instead of assisting you in achieving your best version ever, he or she has pulled you into the depths of immorality. That is not what a union is meant to achieve. That is not what we go into relationships for. That is not what a marriage is meant to be. The both of you are supposed to be each other's support system. The both of you are supposed to encourage each other in becoming the best versions of yourselves, not the worst versions of yourself, not bringing out the beast in yourselves. Because if your partner has succeeded in turning you into this person that no longer has dignity, integrity, no longer able to keep or maintain his or her moral values, then your partner has succeeded in destroying your very essence. And that is not what a union is meant to be. So if you're in such a union, please, I beg of you, leave it immediately. You are not cut out for it. That shouldn't be the purpose of your existence. You're here to do more. There was a lady that was Nurula Bohemia. Thank you for joining in the Bosky Inspirational. Thank you for joining in. Binta_Ghana says, why decide yourself into two relationships? It takes too much energy to do that. Oh, Binta, you have just nailed it on the head. It is energy draining. Just think about it. You are practically dividing yourself in two different places. You are with your husband on a Monday, Tuesday. You're with your lover boy or your lover girl Wednesday to Sunday. Even if we're not sharing it in terms of days of the week, mentally, emotionally, you are divided. Even if not physically, mentally and emotionally, you are divided. Because you find yourself relating with two different people. So imagine the mental strain, the emotional strain, and then the fight that you as a person would have within yourself. Because remember, you never set out in the first place to live this type of life. You just found yourself in this vicious circle that you are now operating in. This is not who you are. At every point in time in your life, you have to be true to yourself. We should endeavor to always be true to ourselves. Whatever it is we feel, it's not within our moral compass. It is not what we want for ourselves. We shouldn't be cajoled into doing those things. Please be guided. Very subtly, you will be pushed, you will be cajoled into doing something that is not you. So Binta_Ghana, thank you so much for that. We should always remember that we owe it to ourselves to be ourselves at all times. Binta_Ghana is that that's done to cover their sexual orientation rather than them coming out. Exactly. A lot of men, a lot of women would rather not come out of the closet. They will rather hide and use another woman as their beard to cover up who they truly are. And then when that woman or that man finds out that their partner has a different sexual orientation from them, they would advise their partners to have an extramarital affair. I know a lot of couples that have advised their partners to have a side boyfriend, to have a side girlfriend, because their spouses have discovered that they have a different sexual orientation. So rather than filing for a divorce, they were advised to please go ahead and have an extramarital affair. This is not news. A lot of marriages are like this. I know of some. They are like this. The husbands have advised their wives to have a boyfriend on the side because now their wives know that they have a different sexual orientation. They would rather have the wife cheat, have a boyfriend on the side rather than file for a divorce. Same thing with some men that have discovered that their wives have a different sexual orientation. They have decided to go on cheating for the sake of the children. You know, we have children already. Why do we want to end this union? Let's just, go out and make ourselves happy. So this is a very toxic lifestyle. And I'm here to advise you that the end thereof is disastrous. So do not let anyone cajole you into doing something that isn't right, that isn't you. There was a lady here. Thank you, darling. I should go to my phone settings and block all calls. Thank you, Rosaline. I did just that. Eddie Freeze just snuck up here and helped me to do that. So anytime this show is on, that is exactly what I'm going to do. It is totally wrong to be married. Let me see. Princess Ogun said, it is totally wrong to be married and still keep a boyfriend, irrespective irrespective of what you are going through in that marriage, it is called adultery according to the scripture. So Princess said it is adultery according to the scripture. Yes, I agree. And that is why I would advise you to file for a divorce. Put an end to that marriage. That is no marriage. That is not a union of love. It is a destructive union. We'll give you 2 minutes to block the number. Shuko, thank you so much. So nice one. Thank you so much. There was a lady here that happens to be in a very toxic relationship, toxic marriage. She has a daughter, moves from an abusive family where her own biological father abused her. And then because of the abuse from her father, she actually ran out of the home earlier than she should have. And she got married way too early because she wanted to just get out of the family setting. So she got herself in an unsuitable marriage. Now the marriage has proven to be very abusive. She has a daughter. The marriage is every shade of abusive. She was supposed to be on this show. She has gone through so much. Now she has a daughter that is, I think the daughter is about 3 to 4 years old. Okay? And she cannot go back to her parents' home. She is at the mercy of her husband's constant battering. But she cannot go back home. And her reason why she cannot go back home is because her mother wasn't able to protect her from her abusive father. So should she go back home with her 4-year-old or 3-year-old daughter, she fears that her father might start abusing her 4-year-old daughter. She wants to get out of this very toxic marriage. She doesn't have the funds to do that. She's struggling financially to get her business going. She has done all sorts, from selling mama put, that's hawking food, to selling second-handed clothes, to being a washerwoman in different homes. And some of the homes she volunteered her services to do the odd jobs like cleaning and washing the clothes. She also got sexually molested by one of the clients, and the man threatened her that if she should tell the wife, she was going to lose her job, so she just quit. So she has done all sorts of odd jobs trying to put food on the table for her and her 3-year-old daughter. She should have been here to join us, but I know how very difficult talking about these things can be. I have known her for quite a while now, for about a year. Tried in the past to help her out, to find her feet on the ground financially, but it hasn't been easy. She was supposed to be here to, talk to us about her journey in life so far and her aspirations for her future, and to see if there is anyone out there that can help her in the form of getting her a job. She has an OND in, I think, marketing. So she's desperately looking for a job. So if you have vacancy for someone with OND in marketing, please. She said she's willing to do any kind of job, like a job that can practically, as long as the job can pay her monthly so she can feed her child and be able to stay on her own. She doesn't want to have to move back into her parents' home. So she has an OND. She can clean, she can do secretarial jobs, she can cook in a restaurant, maybe as a kitchen assistant or something, So she's in need of a job. She's in need of financial assistance. So if you have it in your heart to help this young woman, I see her as a single mom, because a woman that practically lives with a man that beats her up every day. She tries everything she can not to be in the way of the husband whenever he's around. So that is no marriage. So if you have it placed in your heart to help this young woman, or you would like to help this young woman, please reach me in my DM. Please. If you reach me in my DM, I can give you her contacts. I understand how difficult it can be talking about these things. I have spoken with so many women. It's alarming to know what women are going through here in Nigeria. Women that have no financial standing, irrespective of their educational qualification, they are still unable to fend for themselves. It is our responsibility to help one another. It is our responsibility to help each other. When I started Life's Journey, I said I didn't want to start a show where we just come, we talk, and we go. We're here to learn from each other's stories, and we're also here to help one another. So if you have it in your heart to help this young woman, she has a daughter, please reach me in my DM. You can even drop a comment on this particular show on my YouTube feed. You can reach me on Life's Journey on IG. It's Life's Journey with Benedicta, DM. You can also reach me on Life's Journey WhatsApp number, which is 0811 5978904. The numbers to reach me on Life's Journey WhatsApp number is 0811 5978904. If God has placed it in your heart to help this young woman, please reach me on this number. She needs a job. She needs to be able to earn a sustainable income for her and her daughter. She is being battered every day by her husband. And she is a child that came out from a home that the father was abusing her. I have been reaching out to her for over a year, and I've tried to help her every now and again, but they said 2 heads are better than 1. So please, let's help this young woman. It was too painful for her, so I imagine that she will not be able to, come live and talk about it. So please, if you can help this woman, I'll give you her contact. Just reach me in my DM, and I'll link you up to her. So thank you all for watching. It is Life's Journey with Benedicta every Saturday. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/tastebudzng. Thank you for joining in, and see you same time next week Saturday. Remember, you owe it to yourself to be honest with your feelings and to follow your gut instinct about any situation that you find yourself in. Listen to yourself. Self-love always pays off.